Prepping is dumb. That's the last words that were said by the non-prepper who doesn't prepare for anything. I'm gonna tell you some things that I hear from people who do no type of prep. Then I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't be completely extreme with it, and it's okay for prepping to be a hobby, but we wanna just be careful where you fall in line when it comes to prep. So what does prep mean? Prep means something different to everybody. What it means for me is that if shit were to hit the fan, would I be 100% prepared for that moment, whether it's a couple of days, hours, weeks, or months? Today we will have that Cuvée Emporium that I promised you guys yesterday for the pour over, and then I changed it up and poured the wool over your eyes last minute, but we'll do it today. We're gonna do 18 grams in. We're trying to do I think we'll do 40 grams of espresso out and try to see if we can enjoy some of that. Man, let me just say something. I think there's different levels of preppers and people who prepare for stuff. I'm gonna try to convince you why, at a minimum, you should become a prepper and not just say that prepping is dumb, because that's mean, okay? I create safe spaces on this channel. I don't want you to think that it's a nice mean place or anything like that. You're right. There are no safe spaces. So if you are a prepper and you're doing it too much, this is not a safe space for you. If you're not a prepper and you're not doing anything at all, this is not a safe space for you. If you are right here with me and you understand what's about to happen, this is a safe space for you. First off, my name is Marine X. If you haven't been around here before, this is my little mini series called the EDC Cup, where I kind of just talk about whatever I want to. And today we're going to be talking about prep and why I think it's important. Now, we're going to have, one thing is I prepare my family for what could happen in a number of scenarios, okay? So the main thing that I focus on is if shit were to hit the fan, SHTF. I think of it in the days of hours, days, and up to a couple of weeks. There are some preppers who are prepared to ready to rock and roll for months at a time. I'm not one of those. I probably will never get to one of those. Those are some of the ones that you saw on Doomsday Preppers, that show that aired on, I think, with the National Geographic channel or some channel that was probably owned by Discovery Network, because they seem to own every freaking thing, from like 2011 to 2014. Those early years of when they got that publication, and it's so crazy because that was kind of like right in the era of disaster movies. And let me explain that real quick. So 2011, 2014, that's when Doomsday Preppers actually aired. But before that, we had disaster movies coming out left and right. We had Deep Impact. Of course, years before that, we had Armageddon. We had 2012, which came out in 2009. And we also had The Day After Tomorrow. So we have all these doomsday movies coming out, and then boom, we get hit over the jugular with Doomsday Preppers. And people start thinking well, maybe I should go buy an empty shipping container that came from China, and I should just put it in my backyard. I think that's something I could do. If you made it to that level of prep, to the point where you're almost a hoarder, and it's just you and one other person, and y'all have enough food to survive for 6 to 8 years, you may have jumped the shark. And listen, Fonzie, if you jumped the shark, I just want you to know, hopefully you produce some tremendous results for whatever reason that you made that tremendous leap. But I think at a minimum, you should prepare yourself for an emergency blackout situation. There's a video on my channel, shameless self-promotion. There's a video on my channel called a blackout bag. At a minimum, you should have a blackout bag, which will allow for you and your family to survive inside of your own house for up to 72 to 96 hours. That's 3 to 4 days. Can you right now at this exact moment comfortably survive inside of your house for 3 or 4 days and everybody not want to completely unalive each other? Is that something that could happen in your house as it stands right now? Is it because of lack of comfort? Is it because you wouldn't have heat or AC? Is it because you wouldn't have food or water or things to do? Well, my bag has a little bit of all that stuff. food, water, things to do, clothing, as well as things to keep mundane tasks from being so mundane in games and stuff like that. Go check that out. So that's one kind of thing that I would suggest is just the good old blackout bag. Then we talk about things like bugging out, bugging in, which is like a variation of a blackout bag. And I think that it is to your detriment, maybe to your demise, if you are not preparing for at least surviving inside of your own house. Now, there are some crazy things that I have heard over the years in regards to my prep, the things that I do for prep. And I'm pretty confident that some of these people are going to eat crow. One of the first things I hear all the time is, so you're preparing for the zombie apocalypse. No, sir, I'm not. I'm not preparing for a zombie apocalypse. I'm not preparing for anything like that. I'm literally just trying to keep my family ready just in case some stuff were to pop off. I've heard that plenty of times. If the zombie apocalypse does come, it's going to be incredibly more important to have ammo in a good, fortified residence versus having a bunch of food laying around and stuff like that. Another thing that I hear all the time, which I don't know why people say this to me, is, well, if the disaster or if an emergency or if the end of the world does happen, I'm coming to your house, X. No, you're not. The only way you're coming to our house is under a couple of scenarios. If both myself and Mrs. X think you're a baddie, you're a female, and we want to incorporate you in, and you're willing to be both our girlfriends, that's a possibility. So you have a fighting chance if you fit that scenario. Or, look at the cream on there. Oh, shit looking fantastic. Or, I know you and you're bringing survival stuff with you like a couple of my buddies would be. But if you're just a person that knows I got a lot of shit in preparation and you want to come here and rock and roll with it, then we both may be no longer walking the earth because I got to defend myself and you thought you were ready to defend yourself. So that could be something that you might want to think about as well. I don't know why I hear that all the time. The biggest one that I hear is that preppers and people that do prepping are just hoarders. This could be true. I am not a hoarder, at least I don't think I am. If I do a man cave tour and I do a little tour of my prepping stuff, maybe you will think I'm a hoarder. I don't think I'm one. But there are people that I know that easily find themselves closer to being an actual hoarder than just simply being a prepper. I don't know at what point the definition is 100% yes, you are a hoarder versus just being a prepper, but I don't want to fall into that category. But it is important to have a lot of different stuff. I think it's okay that if prepping is your hobby and this hobby kind of just turns into hoarding, then I understand that. For everyday carry, which is a related thing, there are some people that are hoarding knives. Like there's people I know that own hundreds of knives. They own hundreds of wallets or flashlights. I own a lot of that crap. Would I not be considered a hoarder just because knives don't take up a lot of room? You may think to yourself like, well, that's not really hoarding because it's just a knife. It doesn't take up that much room. But if I got 75 5-gallon buckets full of dry food, then I'm a hoarder. I don't know. Are they both equal? I'm not necessarily sure that they are. But the most ridiculous one that I hear is, I'll just hunt for what I need, literally. And this is from someone who I know that owns a weapon. Maybe it was given to them from a family member. And they just think all of a sudden when shit hits the fan, they're going to become an extreme hunter. I'm like, so you're going to hunt, learn how to remove a bladder from an animal, which is one of the most disgusting parts of hunting. You think you're ready for that. Learn how to skin an animal. Oh, by the way, deal with ticks, deal with the smells, learn what parts of the body that you can eat. Should you eat the lats? Is it gamey? What do I do? Do I mix it with other animals? You're gonna just do all that stuff. Good luck with that. I think that if you're not preparing for the worst, you're doing a detriment to yourself and to your family. Let me see if I did a detriment to this espresso. Oh my God. That is scissors worthy. And don't ask me the question, what am I so afraid of? because I'm not afraid of SHTF. I'm just realizing that it could happen. Yes, I have a get home bag. The probability of using it is so finite. There's a higher propensity that I get stuck in the parking lot after a Toby Keith concert for an hour and a half, and I live 3 miles away from the house, and I decide to just leave my truck there, throw my get home bag, and walk home. There's a high propensity that that happens than some type of civil unrest that makes it so that I had to leave my vehicle somewhere and walk home. I understand that, but I still have one. There's a low propensity that I need to bug out. I have a family bug out bag. I have personal size bug out bags, but we still have them prepared. We still have shoes and trousers, shirts, blouses, rain jackets, ponchos, emergency blankets, all at the ready. If you're not prepping and you decide that you're going to stretch your legs out, go to someone's house who is prepping, I guarantee you may get Minecrafted. And if you've played Minecraft before, then you know what I'm saying. I think that if you say something to me such as you need to have more faith, that could be true. For instance, I think that I'll give you an example from the Christian faith. A lot of Christians they didn't actually see Jesus walk on water. The people that were around him did, right? In theory, if you believe that. But you have to just have faith that it did happen. Or if you're a Buddhist or you're a monk, you have to have faith that you just simply meditating for hours on end, not speaking, if that's the type of monk that you are, going through a certain type of fast will yield results. If you're Muslim and you're going through Ramadan and you're not able to eat throughout the day and you feel like that's some type of cleansing, you feel like that has faith that brings you somewhere else. So when you tell me to have faith within prepping, that's stupid. Religion makes sense. But with prepping, what? Have faith. Have faith that I'm just going to be able to get through a situation when I've been equipped to get myself through those situations. That makes no sense whatsoever. So when I hear that type of stuff as well, it almost always makes me kind of chuckle. The biggest one that I hear is, you've been prepping for years. Since you were in the Marines, shit hasn't happened yet. Don't you feel like a dummy? That could be a fair argument. That might go in a number of different scenarios. You know, you may say to a woman, like, you bought this purse years ago for this extreme event that you get to go to Paris Fashion Week. That hasn't happened. Don't you feel like a dummy? It's a little bit more controllable, right? Or there may be things that you do for your dog. You get them prepared just in case they have to defend themselves or defend your house. Don't you think that's stupid that you took your dog to all that training on how to defend the house when your house has never been broken in? It's almost kind of correlated, is it not? I don't know. If you're not prepping, it's to your demise. If you think prepping is dumb, then in my opinion, you're being obtuse. But the fact that you said prepping is dumb is your opinion, just like my opinion that you're being obtuse is an opinion. I don't know, man. I'm going to continue with my prep. I'll continue giving you different ideas on different things to try to help prep you through some stuff. Right now, I'm kind of shifting my focus on building out my truck and getting it prepared for the spring and the summer. So I'll probably be doing some videos over that type of stuff. Hey, listen, subscribe to the channel. Also, check out my podcast, the Mantuary Podcast. I usually try to film every Monday. I'm in season 2. You can listen to it on YouTube Music or you can watch it on YouTube. But I kind of just do the same thing I do here, but in a little bit more longer form and a little bit more structured. This is done in one take. That's why you saw me dropping shit earlier and all that type of stuff. But I'm gonna finish the rest of this espresso, and I actually have a meeting that starts in 4 minutes. Hopefully y'all have a good day. I got shit to do. I'll catch you later.